Hi everyone, Dean Ramsey here, Principal Analyst at TMForum. I'm here at Mobile World Congress 2024 on the Enghouse Networks booth. I'm joined by Henning and Val from Enghouse. Having a good show, guys?
Yeah, very good. Very good, very busy, very active, a lot of interest.
Great. So we were here last year. I spoke to you last year. We talked about the Enghouse platform. It's been a busy year, I understand. Can you give us an update on what's been happening with you guys?
Of course, and as a reminder of what that platform is, we are known into this market as a provider of telecom systems in a couple of domains, in BSS, OSS, VAS, infrastructure, IPTV. The idea of our platform is to dedicate it to private networks, where we take our telco-grade systems, we completely integrate them, we install them in a SaaS, we offer them a SaaS, so pricing is transparent, where they become composable, and with use cases that speak to people that have specific needs and that need to get to the market fast. So think about anything you could combine out of our portfolio in a manner that is transparent, in a manner that is self-driven, with no programming, no work to integrate, no work to drive processes, with transparent pricing. And our idea is that you get to market in 2 weeks with end-to-end integrations available on the parts of the ecosystem that you need. Since last year, since we have discussed, we made a lot of progress with the underlying technology throughout the portfolio to enable this. With the APIs that we need, it's all driven by the TMForum standards in the way we build everything. And we made particular progress in BSS given the interest in monetization with 5G nowadays. That is the first part that is going to come alive as part of our platform. Specifically with our MVNO, wholesale revenue management and device management part of the BSS portfolio.
Okay. So I'm seeing a lot of focus from operators on the BSS. I think a lot of the last few years has been investments heavy in the network, and they're moving up the stack, thinking about how they can do automated service operations to be able to enable next generation of services for those network investments. So can you kind of talk us through a little bit more detail on the BSS elements of your platform, and what are you seeing your operator customers asking you to evolve and develop in the BSS area?
So we see two things. We see more operators thinking about the MVNO type of offering. We see that they get even more creative with the plans and offerings that they have. And that is around our core offering. So you need to have the capability to define the plans, the integrations, the kind of online capabilities, real-time capabilities associated with BSS systems. What we see as well is, and our vision is that our industry, and 5G in particular, is going to grow in this space with industrial automation, with targeting areas where you don't have wired infrastructure, with targeting capacity in cities, in environmental monitoring, and industries, in areas of the world where that same infrastructure doesn't exist to the same extent. So from a BSS perspective, that's more of a B2B2X type of offering, where you have an operator that has built some infrastructure to the gate, right? Then you have someone that builds a private network. And what do you need in that context? You need to monetize the two relationship, the back end of the relationship, so the operator to the provider of the private network, and then the provider of the private network to everybody in that space. We see a lot of interest there. We've had discussions here about that, and it's a unique kind of offering because everybody has the telco grade systems. We do as well at the operator side, but the private provider that tries to scale up and needs something easy, low cost, fast, they are kind of left with our traditional systems that were made for large scale.
Great. So Henning, I know you're focused on the wholesale market, BSS for the wholesale. What are you seeing in that space? I know that it's kind of a a big focus in the industry, and there's lots of growth opportunities there where there maybe isn't in the consumer sides, and so there's lots of eyes on wholesale at the moment.
But for us, we talk about wholesale from the perspective of interconnect and roaming. That's why I think that you can divide most of any business-to-business relationship into those two areas, and then you can combine or take like dialects of those into to support broadband and to support content revenue sharing models, IoT models. It's just combinations of interconnect and roaming. So we see a lot of growth and complexity that is increasing related to wholesale billing. We have done a lot of investments in our platform. Val mentioned the 5G and how money is coming in from the 5G side. 5G monetization and IoT monetization is the most interesting aspects of wholesale, I think. This is where we're going to see the growth. I don't believe too much of the revenue growth is going to come from the B2C perspective. It's what you talk about, the private networks, to monetize the 5G space. It's enterprise relationships where we can take benefit of our capabilities in the wholesale space, supporting both interconnect and roaming and the dialects, moving into the 5G space and making sure that we can monetize, for example, slicing private networks or any type of relationship that's either B2B or B2X.
Absolutely. Our own research supports that. It seems that a great deal of the ability to monetize those investments and get ROI from the 5G era, as we start to move towards standalone 2, will probably come from the enterprise side and from not from just upgrading new radio for consumer mobile and providing them with kind of like a supercharged 4G. It's kind of new business models on the enterprise side and kind of diversifying business models for operators there.
Yes.
So what's the roadmap for the next 12 months look like for the Enghouse platform? How are you developing, and what will we be talking about when we meet again next year and have another video session?
We'll continue to build on everything we have because it's a complex ecosystem. It's a lot of product that we have to integrate to make this happen. So that build out will continue. The integrations will continue, the building of the APIs, but also driving this whole idea of what we were talking about here at MWC, the programmability of the network, the open gateway, all of that transparency in the ecosystem. Because somebody that builds a B2B2X, somebody that is in the IoT business, they don't have also a lot of manual capability to monitor their systems, to run them in the traditional fashion. So you need programmability, you need AI, you need all of these other systems around our platform that we need to support and build. So you will see more of that when you come next year.
Yeah.
And we'll have the same conversation, I hope.
You mentioned the open gateway there. That concept of bringing together the IT world and the network world, and that's reflected in the GSMA's open gateway and how it interacts with TMForum's APIs there. So you're following that adherence and following those standards there as you build out your platform.
Exactly, and completely. And something else we have to realize as well, we as a provider, our platform does not cover 100% of the needs. That being on the telco side, on the enterprise side, other systems, ticketing, and so on. So we plan to bring other providers onto our own platform, as long as we keep that philosophy of being quick to market, of having no configuration or minimal in the way you choose, and no integrations, no customization. So we sacrifice a bit of that telco grade functionality, which doesn't go away from our core products, but in the platform, everything is just best practice, and it's the 80% of what everybody needs. But you have to build it in a way that is, it becomes an open ecosystem to integrate it with what everybody else can bring to the table and onboard other partners on areas that we do not cover.
With the operators that come to TMForum and take part in those collaboration groups, that's the main story that we hear from the word go, that building that ecosystem, an open ecosystem of system specialists, rather than just the old way of doing things with a full stack large scale single vendor system is really key for them in kind of bringing network and IT together, in enabling automation and simplifying and modernizing their IT. So that all totally aligns with what we're hearing from our operator members.
Exactly. I call that uncomplexify, to invent a word, because to simplify, you kind of assume that you start with a blank sheet, right? Like here we have a bit the opposite, right? We have all of the systems, the core capability, all of that is there. We just have to combine them in a smart way, and in a way that allows people to pick exactly what they want, ignore the functionality that they don't want, and have predictability in terms of low risk and low cost, and pay as you grow, as the model and the industry grows and the 5G ecosystem grows as well.
Maybe you could have uncomplexify written on the boot next time.
Yes, we'll try that.
Great. Well, it's good to catch up with you again, and all the best for the next year. It sounds like it's going to be a busy one for you guys.